Peter Griffin isn't just a silly dad. He's done some really crazy and illegal stuff. From fights to stealing, he's broken more rules than you can count. Let's look at the Peter Griffin's crimes in Family Guy. Chris strolls over to Mr. Herbert's house like a good little paperboy, probably expecting a creepy smile and a tip. Instead, he gets a breakup speech over a newspaper.
Sorry, Chris, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to cancel my subscription.
Cancel? But you love this paper.
Yeah, because clearly this old man treats paper delivery like Tinder now. Still heartbroken over the loss of his #1 customer, Chris confronts the new kid on the block who stole Mr. Herbert's loyalty. A peaceful talk? Not in Family Guy.
Look, Griffin got his kicked. What a loser!
The kid had all the charm of a school bully who peaked in kindergarten. Back at home, Peter learns that his precious boy got his face stomped. Cue his own trauma flashback because nothing says parenting like unresolved high school trauma.
I'm Peter Griffin. I'm a dorky, fat numbnuts.
Kyle, I said shut up!
Peter's method of conflict resolution? Out-insult a middle schooler with the vocabulary of a fart joke. After handing Kyle a deluxe serving of adult fists, Peter sprints home like he just robbed a candy store. But of course, Lois finds out and ruins the fun.
You're 43 and you just assaulted our neighbor's child.
Nothing like a reminder that you're almost eligible for a colonoscopy and still fighting middle schoolers. Feeling a tiny ounce of guilt, or maybe just hunger, Peter visits Kyle to apologize. But instead of learning a lesson, he finds inspiration in all the wrong places.
I mean, bullying makes you feel pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess it was kinda cool.
Peter heard cool and forgot everything else, because maturity clearly skipped this man. And just like that, Peter gets hooked on bullying, like it's his new gym routine. First victim, the woman who married this disaster. Honestly, it is shocking Lois hasn't thrown this man off a cliff by now. But Peter doesn't stop there. Oh no, the high is too good. He sets his sights on Joe, his disabled friend, because nothing says bravery like mocking someone in a wheelchair. Peter's got all the grace of a drunk moose doing improv theater. Not even Cleveland is safe, because Peter's newfound bully energy doesn't see color, just targets. Lois finally spots him mid-harassment and decides it's time for an intervention.
You are no different than that bully who used to pick on you.
Nothing slaps harder than a reality check from your wife while you're mid-bully spree. So Peter, being the genius he is, goes to confront the ghost of bullies past. But surprise, the old bully's now sick and can't even stand up. Literally. Peter prepares to land a weak revenge punch until Chris, yes, Chris, steps in. It only took his own son knocking some sense, and probably a tooth, into him. Growth? Peter learned that bullying others just made him become the bully he once hated, but his next family crisis would involve someone much closer to home. The Griffin household was doing its usual dance with a mountain of mail, probably expecting bills, junk, or more coupons for stuff they'll never buy. But Lois, always the responsible one, found something surprising. It was a letter from Peter's sister. Yes, apparently this man has a sister. Even the kids were shocked.
What? You've got a sister, Dad?
Is she a prim and proper aunt or a big fat dirty ant?
Leave it to Stewie to wonder if she's Tea Party royalty or just another family embarrassment with a buffet addiction. Thanksgiving rolls around, and everyone's shoving food down like it's their last meal. The bell rings and Lois assumes it's the long-lost Aunt Karen. Meg, being desperate for attention and possibly human interaction, sprints to the door to welcome her. Karen basically body checks Meg into a wall, and Meg still smiles because physical pain is the closest thing to a hug she's had in years. Later, during a very casual backyard football game that quickly turns into a WWE SmackDown, Karen pummels Peter so hard he forgets how to breathe. She walks off proud, and Peter manages to insult her mid-panic.
Whenever he stutters, he usually pees his pants.
No, I don't.
Spoiler, he absolutely does, and the grass will never recover. Now soaked in embarrassment and regret, Peter mopes around like a defeated toddler. Meg, who usually gets ignored, decides to do something rare, comfort her father. Meg being nice to someone who ruined her birth and forgot her birthday is what they call character development. Peter, being the genius he is, asks how Meg could possibly relate to being bullied, because apparently he's missed every episode where he made her life a living joke. This is Peter's way of celebrating her misery. Yes, he's literally dancing about Meg's pain. Dad of the year. Even after that musical slap in the face, Peter still doesn't get it. Meg has to spell it out. He's been the Karen of her life all along.
I now see why you've been so tough on me all these years.
Translation, you turned my self-esteem into roadkill because you were once the punching bag. But Peter, clearly lacking brain cells and emotional depth, thinks it was all for laughs because humiliating your daughter is comedy gold, right? This is the moment. The brain cell finally connects. Meg pulled off the impossible. Logic inside of Peter Griffin's storyline. So what now? Peter trains for a boxing match with Aunt Karen. Meg's the coach, Peter's wheezing, but somehow, fueled by closure and cheeseburgers, he knocks out the family beast.
Wow, you really saved me. Thanks, stranger.
Dad, it's me.
Nothing says touching reunion like forgetting your own daughter's face after she literally coached you into not being a wimp. Peter finally stood up to his sister Karen and won back his confidence. However, his intelligence would soon be put to a much bigger test. The Griffins, in a rare attempt to bond with other humans, decide to host a game night because nothing says fun with friends like passive-aggressive board games and watching Peter ruin the rules in under 5 minutes.
Thanks for including my civil rights board game in the game night rotation, guys.
Joe wins Twister because apparently being paralyzed means nothing when the plot demands you stretch like a yoga master. Also, who even brings a civil rights board game to game night? Way to kill the vibe, Joe. As the night continues, the group moves on to Trivial Pursuit, a harmless game, unless you're Lois and you rig the whole thing to make your husband feel smart. She swaps Peter's question cards with the preschool edition. Yes, Peter is now competing at the level of children who eat glue. Peter's glowing with pride after identifying apples by color. Einstein who? This guy just mastered fruit. But not everyone's impressed. Brian, being the only character with a semi-working brain, challenges Peter to take the MacArthur Fellows test, a real test for real geniuses. The prize? $500,000 to do absolutely nothing. Basically, Peter's current lifestyle, but with a paycheck.
If you qualify as a genius, the foundation will give you a $500,000 grant.
Finally, a way to get rich by doing nothing. Peter's dream. Except there's one small problem. He has to actually take the test. Peter sits down, probably thinking it's a pop quiz on TV dinners and couch napping. But the results? Not even Brian was prepared for this level of disaster.
Peter, according to this, you're not a genius. In fact, you're mentally retarded.
Peter tries to defend his honor, but let's face it, this is the same man who once fought a giant chicken for 6 minutes and called it cardio. Naturally, Peter spirals into an emotional meltdown. He dramatically drives home like he's in a sad indie film. He's talking about wanting it all to go away. Cue a car accident. Because of course there's a car accident. Boom, he hits Tom Tucker with his car. Honestly, we've all wanted to do that at least once. And in true bizarre fashion, Tom doesn't even care. In fact, he gives Peter a pass. Because now that Peter's been diagnosed as mentally challenged, apparently consequences no longer exist. Peter's logic, if society pities you, go wild. Jail is for people with accountability. This realization hits hard. Peter goes full chaos mode. First stop, church, and not for a spiritual awakening. He starts smacking people with Bibles. Because nothing screams blessed like Holy Scripture turned into a weapon. His next target, the woman's restroom. He busts in like he owns the place, yelling about his diagnosis while everyone inside questions their life choices. This man is now using political incorrectness as a hall pass for everything. And the worst part, it actually works. Things escalate when Peter finds a fryolator in a fast food joint and decides to steal it. Lois, playing tired mom mode, tries to stop him, but Peter is too far gone. The fryolator has spoken, stealing deep frying equipment like it's treasure from Indiana Jones, all while Lois debates if marriage was a mistake. Eventually, Peter's behavior catches up with him. He loses custody of Meg, Chris, and Stewie because even cartoon laws have limits. The kids are handed over to Cleveland, who somehow becomes the default responsible adult. Brian tells Peter he can still fix things. He just needs to prove he's a good father. Peter's plan? Sabotage Cleveland in the most Peter way possible. Crash his house with prostitutes.
All right, come on, ladies, right this way. This'll show him that Cleveland's not fit to be a parent.
That's right. Peter thinks bringing 7 escorts to a family inspection will scream better dad. Classic logic. Agent Jessup, the only one with functioning brain cells, immediately sees through the disaster. Cleveland kicks Peter and most of the women out. The plan dies, just like Peter's credibility.
So, in conclusion, Peter Griffin, you've inspired me to distrust all mentally challenged parents.
Inspiring agents to rewrite national policy. Peter Griffin, everybody. Back home, Peter is sulking like a grounded teen. He's convinced this is his life now. Alone, fryolator in hand, no family. But then Lois walks in fully healed and smelling like a food court.
Lois, you're all better.
That's right. And the doctors say I'll smell like French fries for the next 6 months.
He doesn't care about the kids. He's just thrilled his wife smells like drive-through heaven. Priorities. Peter got his family back after proving he could still be a good father. But his next mistake would involve something that wasn't supposed to die. Quagmire calls up the gang one day with the kind of excitement usually reserved for something adult-related. Naturally, Peter, Joe, and Cleveland expect strippers, weird gadgets, or maybe a questionable cooking experiment. But no, this time he has something special to show them at home. They show up, and it's a cat. Yep, a plain, fluffy, purring cat, and the guys are instantly confused and visibly unimpressed.
Quagmire, since when do you like cats?
Since I found this little guy living under my house, I understand now why the pharaohs worshipped these animals.
Peter's expecting fireworks, and instead he gets Garfield. Quagmire, on the other hand, is suddenly in ancient Egypt mode, one step away from building a shrine in his living room. As if things weren't awkward enough, the cat starts scratching. Not the sofa, not the curtains, but Joe's leg. Of all people. Not great.
Oh, sorry.
You know what? It's all right, Quagmire. That leg is mostly pus.
Joe takes it like a champ, because apparently his legs are now just placeholder meat with a side of infection. Soon Quagmire becomes completely obsessed with the cat. He stops hanging out, stops talking to the guys, and basically becomes a full-time cat dad. Naturally, his friends hate this new version of him.
We gotta do something about this. His whole life is about that stupid cat.
Cleveland says what they're all thinking, because when your buddy starts canceling plans for cuddle time with the cat, it's time for an intervention. Their brilliant plan: break into Quagmire's house while he's out and shave the cat. Yep, because nothing says concerned friend like animal assault.
We should go over there and shave it. That's a great idea. Let's do it.
Absolutely flawless logic from men who once thought setting a boat on fire was a fun Saturday. They sneak in, Brian grabs the cat, and Peter, with zero hesitation, goes in with the razor like he's doing lawn work. And then, chaos.
Oh my God!
Peter, you killed it!
Well, you guys relax. He's got 8 more lives.
Classic Peter logic. It's fine, it's got backup lives. This is why no one should trust Peter with anything that breathes. Of course he keeps going. Like a broken record of stupidity, he just won't stop. By the time someone tells him to stop, the cat's down to negative lives, and Peter's still going like he's slicing deli meat. Now that the cat is very much not alive, Brian, shockingly, comes up with the least horrible idea of the evening.
How about we hide the cat's body and leave that window open, and that way it'll seem like the cat ran away.
Sure, because nothing screams innocence like hiding a body and staging a fake escape. CSI would be proud. Peter naturally takes the dead cat, throws it in his car, and drives off while chugging beer like it's a soda commercial. Brian tries to have a moral compass for 5 seconds, and Peter answers with beer first, guilt never. Then comes the cherry on top. A cop pulls them over. Peter's covered in cat blood, holding a beer, probably reeking of bad decisions, and yet the cop ignores him. Instead, he sees Brian and arrests him for drugs.
I don't appreciate drug addicts in my town. I'm a family guy.
He said it!
And just like that, Peter's crime vanishes into thin air because the episode needed a punchline and a title drop. Justice? Nah. This is Family Guy. Peter killed Quagmire's cat by accident, but Brian got arrested for drugs instead. Next time, Peter's scary movie plans would lead to real danger and death. Peter and the boys, Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland, decided they were going to write a serial killer movie, because clearly 4 middle-aged guys with zero filmmaking experience and even fewer brain cells are just the team Hollywood's been waiting for. The problem? They were brainstorming in a bar, where the scariest thing was the bathroom.
Look, I think the problem is this is a bar. We can't get inspired here.
Leave it to Quagmire to suggest breaking into an abandoned mental asylum to catch a vibe, because nothing fuels creativity like ghosts, asbestos, and tetanus. Despite the heavy rain pouring down like a horror cliche checklist, the guys still drive all the way to the abandoned Quahog Asylum. Thunder, lightning, perfect. The place looks like every haunted building from every bad horror movie ever made. Joe hates it, but Peter's already pretending to be a director. Meanwhile, the only thing getting written is their obituary if they stay too long. As they start tossing around story ideas, things shift from goofy to genuinely creepy. The wind howls, doors creak. Suddenly, Peter realizes something crucial. He's terrified.
Guys, I'm scared. Let's get out of here.
Panic mode activated. Peter forgets it's a writing trip and now assumes they're characters in their own slasher film, because obviously the killer locked the door. Not, time and rust. With the front door sealed shut, the guys crawl into the air ducts like low-budget action heroes. Unsurprisingly, they crash through and fall into another dusty, forgotten room. Just as they start trying to find a way out, creepy noises. Logic would have helped if anyone was actually calm enough to hear it. Instead, they decide to panic more, which always helps. A shadowy figure starts approaching. Instead of waiting to find out if this guy is just an old janitor or someone in need of help, the group quickly makes a decision. They're going to kill him.
I'm the caretaker here.
Oops. Turns out the killer was just Albert, the poor guy who takes care of the building. All he wanted was to help them get out. Instead, he got a group of panicked morons attacking him for doing his job. And then reality hits. They killed an innocent man. You'd think this would prompt serious guilt, but no. It prompts a dessert run.
Well, if this doesn't justify a McFlurry, nothing does.
Yes, Peter actually tries to justify murder with ice cream. Classic Peter. Cleveland naturally wants to come clean. Peter, not so much. They all agree that reporting a murder probably isn't ideal for their reputations, so they do the next logical thing. Bury Albert and his car outside the asylum like it's a bad mob movie. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Later, Peter starts to freak out because, shockingly, killing someone messes with your sleep schedule.
Guys, I'm kind of freaking out about killing that guy. Anybody else have a hard time sleeping?
Everyone else seems fine. Joe listening to weird music, Cleveland's unbothered, and Peter's halfway to breakdown. Eventually, Peter can't take it anymore. He returns to the burial site at night to check on the grave, but he's not alone. Cleveland is already there, digging. Turns out Joe and Cleveland both had the same idea: frame Quagmire for murder. Friendship is dead, and so is Albert. After that, the gang finally leaves the asylum. On the way out, they stop to grab a newspaper. Cleveland picks it up and reads a headline that changes everything.
Wow, that's a relief. We may have actually made this town a better place.
Apparently, Albert the caretaker was also a war criminal who stole military honors. So, accident or not, they unintentionally got rid of a villain. And for once, their stupidity resulted in something halfway decent. Peter and his friends accidentally killed someone, but found out he was a criminal anyway. Next, Peter would forget something very important about someone he lived with every day. Peter, Lois, and Chris were sitting on the couch watching TV like they always do when Meg walked in. For once, she looked excited and hopeful, which is rare in a house where everyone usually ignores her.
I decided I want a big party this year with all my friends. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
Meg was thrilled. Her parents had said yes. She smiled and walked away like her birthday dream was finally going to happen. But the moment she left the room, things got weird, as usual.
A party for what?
I don't know.
Yep, they had no clue what Meg was even talking about, not even a tiny idea. That's how forgotten she is. Then Chris, of all people, had to remind them of the obvious. Yes, it was Meg's birthday. Her own family forgot, again. And Peter, more worried about having to deal with annoying party stuff. Worse, they don't even know how old she was turning, so they went to her room and started guessing out loud. Meg obviously was not amused.
You stupid son of a You don't even know how old I am!
Imagine yelling at your dad for forgetting your age, and him scolding you like it's your fault he's clueless. Still, they planned a party, but not the kind of party Meg dreamed of. It was full of balloons, old games, and toddler-level decorations. She looked around and was furious.
Mom, this party sucks!
Your father worked very hard to put this party together.
Lois tried to defend it, but really, this party looked like it was made for a preschooler, not a teenager who asked for a band. Then came Peter's big surprise. He had dressed up like a clown. Or tried to. He wanted to come down the stairs in a cool, funny way. But well, it's Peter, so of course something went horribly wrong.
This is gonna blow you guys.
Grandpa! Oh my god! Is he breathing?
Peter tripped, fell down the stairs, and crushed his dad. Yes, he nearly killed his own father trying to make a party more exciting. That went downhill fast. Literally. At the hospital, things weren't looking good. The doctor told Lois something no one wanted to hear.
His internal injuries were much too severe. I'd estimate he'll be dead within the hour.
Peter gave the worst apology ever, sounding more like someone admitting he broke a lamp than a person dying in front of him. His dad, lying there in pain, called Peter close for his final words. It was a touching moment until he actually spoke.
You're a fat, stinking drunk.
And just like that, Peter's dad's last words were an insult. One final roast before saying goodbye. A true Griffin family moment. Peter accidentally killed his own father while trying to make Meg's birthday party fun, but his problems with the law were just getting started. Lois is just trying to make dinner like a normal mom. She's chopping, stirring, and probably wondering why she married Peter in the first place. But little Stewie, oh, he's busy building a mind control machine. Because of course he is. He's not playing with toy cars, he's creating something that could rule the world.
I said no toys at the table.
Damn you, vile woman! You've impeded my work.
Just a regular baby, casually insulting his mom like a British villain. Totally normal. While Lois deals with that, Peter shows up with his usual nonsense. He wants to go to a stag party and tries the I work hard speech. He even adds a cherry on top by promising not to drink, as if anyone believes that.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
Lois agrees. Big mistake. Clearly, she forgot who she's married to. Cue to the party. Peter's playing a game called Drink the Beer, and if you think that sounds stupid, that's because it is. The rules: drink beer until the girl seems pretty. What could go wrong?
We're gonna drink till she's hot.
Yes, that's their master plan. Real geniuses. Peter drinks like a champion, if the championship is for bad decisions. The next morning, he wakes up surrounded by empty cans and regret.
37 beers.
Yeah, a new family record.
Even Chris is roasting him now. When your own son calls you out, it's time to take a long, hard look in the mirror. At work, Peter's supposed to be a safety inspector. Instead, he's napping like it's bedtime.
Are you sleeping on the job?
Apparently, sleeping on the job is fine if you have a dumb excuse and just the right amount of charm. But Peter isn't charming. He's dangerous. Thanks to Peter's laziness, dangerous toys get made. Knives in boxes, gas cans with plushies, and toasters with forks inside. Unsurprisingly, the toy company ends up on the news and Peter ends up unemployed.
Your negligence has damaged this company's reputation. You're fired!
And just like that, Peter loses his job again. At dinner that night, he breaks the news to the kids, but leaves out one little detail. He forgets to tell Lois.
Now we'll never be able to afford my lip injections!
Meg's priorities are questionable. Peter lying to Lois? Totally expected. Brian, being the only adult in the house even though he's a dog, tells Peter to think about the family's future. Peter hears one word, welfare, and takes it way too literally.
Okay, do you have any disabilities?
I didn't have gas for the first time until I was 30.
Even the welfare office lady was confused, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Somehow, thanks to a paperwork mistake, Peter starts receiving $150,000 every week. Instead of questioning it like a normal person, he celebrates like he won the lottery.
How much are we getting?
Let's see, $150 a week.
He lies to Lois, saying it's a raise, and she believes him. Big mistake. Peter goes on a shopping spree of dumb things. Surgery for Meg, a moat around the house, and even renting a giant statue.
Dad's getting a big raise.
Peter, that's wonderful.
And she buys it, again. Lois clearly has the patience of a saint. Soon Peter is literally throwing money into football crowds like he's some kind of rich superhero. But the law catches up. He and Brian get arrested for abusing the system.
Oh, I tell you, Brian, all the rumors about dropping the soap are true.
Of course, Peter jokes about jail, because that's all he knows how to do. By the end, Peter says he's learned a lesson, but did he? Of course not. He's already planning his next scam.
I got a way to get money.
Not another welfare scam.
Minority scholarship.
And just like that, he's ready for another lie. Classic Peter. Never growing, always scheming. Peter got arrested for welfare fraud, but was already planning his next money scam. Soon he would be trapped at home and turn his house into something completely different. Stewie is having a full-on baby breakdown. He's teething and it hurts a lot. No toy, no blanket, not even his evil plans are helping him feel better.
You see, I'm in searing pain!
Oh, you're just teething, Stewie.
Yep, Stewie's solution to teething pain is dramatic as ever. Only Stewie could ask for mercy like that over baby teeth. Meanwhile, Peter is at Chris's soccer game trying to be a sportive dad.
Go, Chris! Daddy loves you! I mean that in a platonic way.
Because saying I love you to your son apparently needs an explanation. But things go south when Peter gets into a fight with another parent. Why? Because someone made fun of Chris's very questionable soccer skills. Peter as always overreacts in the most ridiculous way.
Hey, you hit my mom!
No, I hit your dad.
Yep, Peter accidentally punches a pregnant woman. Because of course he does. Now he's panicking, feeling guilty in the weird way only Peter can.
I just hope she accepts my peace offering.
A normal person would be horrified. Peter, just hoping his sorry gift fixes it all. As punishment, Peter gets house arrest. He has to wear an ankle bracelet and can't leave home. So what does he do with his time? The most Peter thing ever.
Yeah, no kidding. Could have been a lot worse if the cops knew about those other times I broke the law.
Peter casually reminds us that he's broken the law plenty of times before. Real role model energy. So stuck at home, he turns the basement into a bar. Yes, a full dive bar. Tables, lights, drinks, the whole deal. Soon the place is full of random people.
I got another one. What's the difference between and art? A government grant!
The bar's vibe? Jokes, cheap drinks, and no rules. Classic Peter setup. Lois is angry at first, understandably. But when someone hands her a microphone, she suddenly becomes the star of the night. She starts singing like she's in a movie musical, and the crowd loves it. At first, Lois is embarrassed. But honestly, she kind of enjoyed it. Peter got house arrest for punching a pregnant woman and turned his basement into a popular bar. Peter's crimes may be wild, but they're always hilarious. Want more insane moments from Family Guy? Like, comment, and subscribe for the craziest clips and breakdowns every week.